All right, good morning, everyone. We'll start in like a minute or two. People are just joining in. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Some of you didn't like week 3. So
we should say good. Have everyone had good Sunday, not weekend.
Sorry, good Sunday. You're right.
Yeah. And like some people probably didn't even have that.
That's why Patrick has a photo where he's smiling in his photo. He's not showing his video.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't we get started? Not too many announcements. I think everyone has seen the weekly challenge has gone up. And as Gabriel said, hope everyone had a good Sunday / weekend / depending on how you organized your time, but hope everyone got to rest and do something else. Yeah, leaderboard will be updated during the week. You'll get your marks back. The interim solution from week 3 was marked a little bit late this week. Results went back last night, and you will be seeing in the next middle of the week, you'll get your final reports back from week 3, along with detailed feedback and a leaderboard update. We aim this week to give more detailed feedback. There's been a request from some people in the community for understanding how the community scores are put together. So keep an eye out this week. We're most likely going to do that through Google Classroom. So everyone will just submit a quote unquote dummy assignment where you just hit submit, and we'll use that to give feedback and also so that you can see what the rubric looks like. We've put effort into making the rubric more transparent this week in terms of what we're looking for the code, as well as for the code, Jupyter Notebook, presentations, and also the community guidelines are there. So any questions, let us know. And otherwise, weekly challenge is out. Nothing further from my side. Anyone else? Yababel, Usman, Sebastian, Abla.
From my side, I think that's all. Just give us feedback if you like, if the new way of like how the elements we care and kind of how we grade is not clear or something, then just let us know. Yeah, I think you said everything, Alan, so.
All right, anyone else from the team who wants to make an announcement? Otherwise we'll go, we're gonna do the nominate a friend or nominate a colleague system.
But I think I have also, in case that doesn't seem to work sometimes, so I have also for a few others. Yeah.
You have the code ready to go. Okay.
Not a code, but just the Excel sheet, just that does
Excel.
That. Exactly. Because I realized like sometimes.
It's the best kind of data science. Exactly. All right. I feel like I'm on stage here. I think I'm the only one with my video on. So, okay. Anyone, if no one else from the team wants to make an announcement, so let's do a couple of nominations, and then we'll use the high-tech Microsoft Excel solution. Microsoft is somehow becoming cutting edge. They're going to buy TikTok. A couple of years ago, who would have thought that Microsoft would be doing cutting edge stuff? You guys might all be too young to remember when Microsoft was cool and then it got boring and now it's cool. Okay, we have Claire. Claire Munoz. So Claire, please go ahead. And Lawal.
Good morning.
Lawal is violating the rules by nominating Lawal.
No, we allowed it. We allowed self-nomination. Yeah.
Really?
Because, yeah. I think that's good. Okay, so go Claire. I think.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Claire.
So last week was a bit intimidating for me. It was a bit challenging. However, it was a good challenge. Today I'm going through the key papers, and then I'm also hoping to start the interim solution by evening. As of now, I still don't have any blockers, but I'm looking forward to a great week.
Great. Claire, can I ask you a question before you mute? You said it was intimidating. Could you comment on how you felt about the challenge at the end of the week as compared to at the start of the week?
Okay, at the start of the week, it was a bit difficult, but with the help of my group members, it was better. Towards the end of the week, I was able to understand a little bit more of the concepts that were a bit challenging. But overall, it was still, I think, even as you check what the comments of people on Slack, it was quite difficult compared to the first and second week. Yeah.
Okay. So next up is Mokali.
Good morning.
Lowell's trying the Kanye West. Lowell's like, I'm going to let you speak, but hold on a minute. All right, Lowell, we'll definitely let you speak.
Good morning.
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 So my last week was quite interesting for me. I got to learn a lot. Also, I was really happy, like experimenting with the data, seeing what results you can get, and actually comparing with the results we got for the people who tested yesterday, and we had kind of predicted the number of people. So looking that it was kind of close, it was actually really exciting. It felt like I was doing something. So there was that, and then yeah, I started this week by looking at the whole challenge for the week, and it was, yeah, it's interesting. I'm still reading on the resources, and yeah, there's no blocker so far.
Wonderful. So I want to say, actually, really, all of you just follow up your model this week and kind of exactly get that kind of like, even if you don't work on it, just look at the predictions you made, and if it kind of is working, then of course you know that you have done really a good job. I mean, not you, but a model. You know, it's not about you. And if it's not, then maybe you can just reflect, well, you know, and on that still keep discussing on the week 3 one. But I would say, like, some of you have done, I mean, most of you have done really a good job. And I feel that it's kind of really important. For some of the countries, this hasn't been done. For South Africa, a similar thing has been done. I posted the paper that they published. And this, you know, the same work was done by really an incredible person from Johannesburg. And, you know, that guy had like 100 books on every topic, whatever. And they kind of valued the same kind of model. So what I would suggest is also just think about where you can, you know, if the prediction is kind of holding, you can actually try to start thinking to write to a newspaper in your country or something. But don't let it, like, I mean, don't work on it because you have a lot of other work, but just keep in mind, and because it was kind of an important thing you did.
All right, great. We have a nomination for Lowell.
Okay, yeah, so finally. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We do, Lowell.
Of course, yeah. I have low battery on my phone, so I wanted to talk fast before the thing died. So, yeah. So, I'm starting this week with the mantra. I think there's a part in the Bible that says something like, all things have passed away. I'm a Muslim, though, but yeah. So, that's what I'm starting the week with. So, yeah, last week was a little bit, started on an interesting note because I had to read the paper, and reading it wasn't all that difficult, except for the technical part. So, I understood what the whole overall objective was. And I had an interesting thread with Oshwalale Emmanuel earlier the week, so which Yaiba also contributed. So that helped give me a good foundation about the whole understanding of the paper. But then when I got to, after the Tuesday that we had to submit the interim, and I had to start working on the technical part, modifying the code, it was a little bit, let me use the word that one of our guys have already used before, intimidating. So yeah, there was a part I gave up. I was like, okay, I'll just submit what I submitted for the interim as the final result as well, until one of my teammates get across to me that we should work on it. And with the help of Usman, one of the tutors, we were able to modify the code, and we got interesting results at the end, and I was really proud of it. And I'm even considering maybe publishing on Medium soon as I have the time. So yeah, So, and this week also, I mean, A and B testing, we did it during the week, but then I didn't understand it much, but then I hope I would understand it during the week. So I'm a little confident than I was last week. So yeah, thank you. That's just about it.
Great. So I missed some of the conversations, like because of I think the low volume, but I think that's really great, and looking forward to see the kind of the writings, just the articles that you guys are going to publish.
Yeah.
And so maybe one request I can have, if you do publish something, please do keep us posted. We would love to link it back to the work that we're doing, but also to try and amplify it within some of the networks that we have. So please do keep us posted. And if we can help in terms of the writing, and yeah, please do keep us posted.
I think I do post stuff on Twitter, and I used to tag Pen Academy, I think twice, aside from the time we were told to do it.
Okay, yeah, please. So then keep doing that. Our social media account is not so social right now, but we're working on that.
All right, thank you.
We have a nomination for memory. I don't know. Yeah, memory is here. Memory up you.
Yeah, I think she's speaking.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Good morning.
Morning. So for me last week, I was actually also very intimidating. And with the help of Usman, I was able to work on a few things, understand a few things. I also read a couple of articles from the internet and actually used them to actually as a sample for my report and know how to structure my report. But generally, I've not looked at this week's challenge. But when you gave a hint about hypothesis testing, I actually read and about it to actually get more knowledge. And so far, I don't think I have any challenge. But if I have, I think I'll get back.
Memory, can I ask you the same question? How did you feel about the challenge at the end of the week as compared to the start of the week?
At the start of the week, it was very intimidating, but at the end of the week, I felt kind of relaxed and I actually understood the better part of it. So if I compare the two, in the beginning, I was intimidated and afraid and scared, but towards the end, I was like confident with myself. I was like, so I can make progress and actually learn more with time. Yes.
Super, thank you. We have a nomination for Ada.
Morning, everyone. Okay. Concerning last week's challenge, it was involving, like most of the guys are saying, I can't say I gave it my best. Yeah.
There is a big noise. So is it? Oh, great. There was some big noise. Still coming up.
Okay, what about right now?
Perfect.
It's better now, yeah.
Okay, so I was saying concerning last week's challenge, it was involving, like most of the guys are saying, I can't say I gave it my best, but I gave what I could given the time frame. There's still some gaps I'm yet to understand from the challenge, but I'll go through it again in later days. Okay, for this week, I've gone through the paper. I've seen there's more statistics, the hypothesis testing and the A/B testing to be precise. I am thrilled because I rarely embrace the statistics side of data science. So at least this kind of gives me a balance of all the aspects involved. The plan is to go through the resources provided and then try to answer the task one. One thing I'd like to point out is the way that you've outlined the specific expectations, like how the notebook should be, how the report should be. It's really nice. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Super, thank you. Thank you for the feedback, Ada. We have Brian Odiambo.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So last week was kind of really challenging for me. Actually, I got to understand like the whole workflow on Friday. Yeah, so for the previous 4 days, I was like trying to understand. I'm like understanding and I'm not understanding. But anyways, yeah, I managed to do something. Yeah, come up with the case scenario for Kenya that is, and write my report. Yeah, so this week, uh, I tend to understand it. I'm still reading through the documents and the resources that have been provided, and I'm hoping. I'm also reading the editor thing and trying to get the good part of it.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Next nomination is Victoria. Victoria, are you there?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy New Week. Happy New Week. Okay, so I last week's challenge too. I really did not understand it. Like as everybody that's been talking has said, I kind of like understood it towards the end of the week, and we were able to do something in the team, and that was what we submitted. But I really enjoyed working with my team members. I got to learn more about them, and I really enjoyed the bonding process. So for this week's challenge, I've just come in online and I saw A/B testing, and well, I'll be alright. Yeah, I'll be alright. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Samuel, there's a question about Prosper. Lawal's asking about Prosper. Lawal, I don't know what you mean. Prosper's around. He's not on the call today, but Prosper's there. Next up is Samuel. Samuel Nagash.
Usually Samuel is like he's in office, so he,
okay, you're not able to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Biniam.
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning.
So last week was very tough for me because of one simple mistake I've done. That was I decided to isolate myself and learn the concepts by myself instead of reaching out to the tutors and understand the learning model and just understand what was needed. So I didn't do well. I mean, it got better at the end of the week. I have a grasp of some of the ideas involved in the challenge, but because of that big mistake, I couldn't say I gave it my best. So this week, I woke up early today to see the challenge, not to make the last week's mistake again. So I think this week is going to be better. I've learned a lot. I'm going to reach out to a lot of you, the tutors, and also fellow trainees. So I think this week will be fine. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for your honest feedback, Biniam. Patrick, we have next nomination is Patrick. I suppose Patrick Wachunda. Is he there? I think Patrick is no longer online. Any other nominations? Otherwise, we go to Yavabel's Excel.
yes. So this was supposed to be the
Stephanie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We have more.
People are so afraid of Microsoft that the nominations are coming. Okay, we'll do Stephanie, Augustine, and then Bessie.
Good morning, everyone. Last week was kind of challenging for me. I can also say I didn't give it my best because I didn't really get to understand the whole what I was supposed to do until the end of the week. Maybe I'm hoping this week I'm going to do better. I already started reading the resources and I have a good grasp of what I'm supposed to do this week. So I'm hoping to have a good week. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. We might actually post a poll because a lot of people are saying they didn't understand what it is that they needed to do until the end of the week. Just to understand, or maybe to get some feedback on what we could have done to make it more clear, because I think maybe there was a misunderstanding about what had to be done, but actually it's supposed to be more thinking and less programming and doing. But maybe we'll post a request for comments in the week 3 channel.
And just to repeat on that, this week is also in a very similar format. There is a programming aspect of it from after you submit your entry, but until the entry, the task doesn't require anything, nor plot, nor any kind of programming, but you are supposed to just read them, understand, and it's unlike last week, this week's probably is going to be the most simplest thing you will understand in the face value, but I would say it is the trickiest thing in statistics. So you have to just read as much as you can to understand why is there so much noise and stuff. So it's kind of, you have to go and read. I try to give as much reference as possible, but there are many, so you should read just, why are people kind of talking about A/B testing as like the devil, or the kind of, it's just so simple, but there's so much in the internet. So things like that. So you have to, the 2 days, spend more time understanding and kind of clarifying for yourself and having a pass. And then when you get the data, it gets easier. So just, it's in the same format as last week.
I'll post a funny comic which is related to that as well. I was posting some comics that I could find. Augustine. We have Augustine, then Bessie, and then Emmanuel. Augustine, are you there? Augustine Virgo.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
So last week was interesting to some extent. With the problem I had was with the interim submission and what we had to submit at the end of the week, because they kind of felt unrelated in a way. So we didn't actually spend, for example, with the with the models we had, it was because we kind of worked on the interim submission first and focused some part of our time there before moving on to the second part of the whole submission. We missed a lot of things like reading the docs to understand everything clearly, to link things. And also because we were working in groups, it's like everyone had to meet at a certain pace. Like not everyone had the same pace. Maybe some people wanted to take time to study certain things before actually going into work mode. But then because we were in a group, everyone wanted different goals achieved by the end of the day. And so things felt kind of rushed, but it was all good at the end.
Great, thank you. Next up is Bessie.
Good morning, everyone.
The volume is slightly low. Bessie, if you can speak up a little bit.
Can you guys hear me?
It's still, at least from my side, it's still quite low volume.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank you. For me, last week was challenging. I will explain it in pieces. On Monday, it seemed so challenging. I was starting to be anxious about it. But after sharing different approaches and ideas with my colleagues, it got better. And towards the end of the week, things were more clearer. As for this week, I seek to go through the papers and understand what is expected of me. Yeah, that's it.
Great.
All right, last nomination so far is Emmanuel nominating Emmanuel.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. and happy new week. So,
Morning.
Happy
so
New Year
basically,
for which country is it? Sorry.
Nigeria.
Happy New Week, he said. New week.
Okay. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Okay. So, I wanted to talk about the last week challenge. Like, in a way, Yawabel like told us to focus on one notebook, and that was the challenge we had. Like, when we focused on that one notebook, we could not get enough information to go to other, like, to answer the questions basically. So there are not pointers to answering the questions. That was the challenge we had. Me and my team had to go through the whole repository one by one and be searching each of the code, like trying to read what is there, what this one is doing, what that one is doing. Like it was a whole work. Like we did a lot of work with that. So, and that is the challenge most people possibly had. So if we can know exactly pointers to what we are doing exactly, like it was not clear about when we are talking about testing model, we are not clear about what testing model means. How can we test model? There was no clarity on that. And all that, like the questions where it was structured, it was not clear also to most of us how to go about it. Like, so that was the challenge we had with that, basically.
Thanks, Emmanuel, for the feedback. I think that's great, and that is what I would say is, in any case, you have to do, if you have, and the challenge is the direction, such that it is kind of clear at least where to start and where to get, but that any description doesn't by itself really give you everything you want. And really, it's a kind of the good habit. I have seen that you also, in the early, you just looked at the repository and you went and kind of requested an issue, following the issues that were submitted. That really will help a lot in understanding, right? So our task is really to give you a direction so that you don't get confused. If I give, look at here, look at here, look at there, it gets very confusing. But I give you where I think is reasonable, and if you follow, definitely, of course, you will at least be somewhere, and that's hopefully why everyone is somewhere. But I completely agree. Every time you get something, the best is to look at yourself, open it, and kind of don't take it as a black box. If you can, if you have the skill. Sometimes you don't. I mean, sometimes I have a package that I'm like, I don't look at it, because then you don't look at every package, for example, you pip install in your computer, right? Because kind of gets sometimes harder. But whenever you have an issue, whenever there is an error, just open it. Or whenever you don't understand, open it and just see. That's the kind of habit you should have as a data scientist, because you are not working on a software like in a graphical interface. It's a code. You're calling the code. So that means if you are calling it, you must know sometimes how it works. So it's definitely really, really encouraged, and you have to do it. And those people who did it, great. But there are more weeks. There are some packages. So for example, there's one package. It's not necessary for this week because the mathematics is very simple to code it yourself. But in any way, there is one Python package that has a lot of stuff. So if you want to use it, just open, look at which code is actually doing what, and kind of like get at least an understanding what is doing and what you want to do. So I think that's really great. But from the kind of perspective of last week, I would say like that was really one of the hardest challenge. And there was one, I think it was Briodev, that really described it nicely for me. You feel you understand it, then don't understand it. That's what Bayesian thing is. If you feel that you are understanding, like you see it and you understand it, it's kind of, I would say that you are missing something. It's a complicated field, even if it has a very first rule. Like if you know about cellular automata, it's those things. You have a few rules, you have a few states, but the more you operate it, that state and that rule, you get a complex outcome and phenomena. And it's almost always, it's just so hard to know like everything, because it's just, there's so much complexity in it. But you have to always relate to the basic one, which is like the very simple, like, okay, this is a product rule, this is the sum rule, this is a marginalization rule, there is a normalization rule, and then there is Bayes' theorem. That's it. Everything kind of combines, and what I am going to do is like I'm propagating error, like I'm propagating uncertainties. And the same is this week. It's going to be identical. You can write it in Bayesian form. You can use PyMC to actually do exactly what you do. So if you want to build on last week's thing, use PyMC to do everything. Because PyMC just gives you exactly the same formalism as Bayesian, and hypothesis testing can be done in a Bayesian way. So I would say I give you a guide, or we give you a guide, sorry, we give you a guide on the challenge to actually lead you in a certain way, a direction. But if you have the stamina and if you have like the experience and if you are interested, just go outside and explore and do something. Would answer in any way just the questions that are listed. So I encourage it, just do it, and whoever we're able to do, great. So, and if you are uncertain, that's what I tell some people, just post it. If like from whenever you are uncertain from just the direction, just rewrite it on your own and then ask us like, is this what you want us? Then we answer yes or no, or like kind of explain it more. So try to just copy and interpret the thing and ask, and that makes for everyone better. So I think that's the spirit we are in, and I think I have seen quickly everything, and most people did really good, and really I'm proud of you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but Ada has made a proposal to do another Bayesian inferencing challenging. A Bayesian inferencing challenge. People are busy writing back saying no, 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 no. Or at least some people are saying that. But sure, it's a suggestion.
I think yeah, I will ask either Ababa, another person who's also working on that area, or I will ask some other guest, or I will do it. Try to organize this week at least a very simple exercise, writing your MCMC and stuff. So last week it's also asked. So whoever is interested will not be like a kind of, but just a side tutorial we will try to arrange. I'll think about it. And for this week, just at least read it and try to understand what is asked, and kind of like whatever is not clear, ask around. And a lot of us have done already A/B testing, and we know what kind of really the problem is. And just try to, if you understand it, great. If you have done already, great. But there are complications. Try to design like, okay, if I were to be asked in a company to do this, so that's the whole point, right? If I were to be asked in a company, would I be able to do it? What should I be caring? What should I be asking? Is the kind of question I want you to, to reflect. But yeah, there's the whole week. So we will, and there are a couple of tutorials, so you kind of will get to know a lot of these details. So yeah, happy new week then.
Yeah, there's a question from Samuel. So this week is individual. So we can ask the questions on Slack, but Samuel, it's individual. And just for everyone who's on the call, we can make it. If you look at the expectations, we've outlined what's our policy on own work. Collaborate, yes. Ask questions, yes. Use resources, yes. Everyone has to write their own code, and everyone must submit things that they've written themselves. We want people to understand. You're not helping yourself if you're just doing things that other people have put together and you don't understand. So collaboration, yes, but you have to do your own work.
So we probably will oscillate in this group, whatever, such that we get both the advantage of both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it's harder, right? I think somebody had said their group they had different ways to work. And so unfortunately or fortunately, that's how the real world also works. I'm sure you've all seen that in your university careers, that sometimes the groups can make it easier, sometimes not as easy.
Yeah. I think the good thing for us to hear is that the group work for most people work. That's great. And I think definitely I will try to get some of the challenge to be more group-based, but some of them, like A/B testing, usually you do it on your own, even in a company. So it's better to just to do it, but definitely keep using last week's group if you want to discuss more and kind of go through. I think these are all allowed, right? It's just that you have to give your own code and you have to give your own report. So last week was like, you can use the same code, but give the different report. This week we require both. So when we say non-group, it means just that you have to present also your own code. So that's the only difference. But you can leverage your last week's connection to get in a small and kind of discuss, and I think that's all fine and encouraged.
All right, guys, we're 25% done. So have a super week ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Cheers,
Thank you.
everyone.